Philippines personality force China adheres to the decision. Judge Philippines for scenario analysis can enforce the judgment if China resolutely non-compliance. Recently, the Wall Street Journal's lead analyst Antonio T. Cape, judge of Supreme Court of the Philippines, launched 4 scenarios to respond if China does not comply with the court's ruling. Manila can take a number of measures to execute judgment and protect its interests. Accordingly, first, in the case of a Chinese oil company rig brought to the area-occupied countries to exploit the gas, the Philippines can sue in any country where the company has asset products, such as Canada, a member of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. Philippines may request the court to seize the assets of Canadian oil and gas companies in the country China to compensate for the losses that the company with a cause has caused. The damage cannot be repaired on ocean ecosystems in the Spratlys, including Stone and Stone Mischief Subi, under the sovereignty of Vietnam, but also claimed by the Philippines. By the UNCLOS, a country must have a legal obligation for the damage caused to the marine environment of other countries. Third, the Philippines may also ask international agencies. Ocean Floor, ISA, an organization established under the provisions of UNCLOS, stopped issuing permits for each Level 4 for China to this country to exploit the seabed in waters internationally, outside the jurisdiction of Beijing. Judge Carpio said that this is a relatively effective measure, because these countries have agreed to ratify UNCLOS, that the ISA, and approve the agency's judgment is an integral part of the UNCLOS. UNCLOS perspective mines seabed resources, but rejects the terms related to the settlement of disputes. Fourth, Mr. Carpio also said that though there is no police force to enforce the International Maritime Award, the naval powers, led by the U.S., has announced it will continue through if China does not accept the decision of the ISA. Manila can allege that Beijing recognizes freely on the airspace and the international sea in the South China Sea to enforce their rights. And if China cannot prevent this power to exercise the right of freedom of navigation and overflight, an important part of the final judgment has been enforced. South China Sea is never a pond of China, as the country's ambitions draw through U-shaped line. With time, the judgment of the Court of Arbitration will need to be fully implemented, because the world will not accept a single country claims to have nearly an entire sea area bordering other countries. Acts of violation of China, if not prevented, would mean death of the international law of the sea, Judge Carpio said. The image is said to be H-6K bombers China over Scarborough Shoal Bay after the Court of Arbitration ruling rejected U-shaped line. In a related development, Philippine Foreign Secretary Perfecto Yase Beijing has unveiled proposed bilateral talks with Manila, but just about the issue of marginal or no mention of judgment of the Court of Arbitration. According to Reuters on 19 July, he flatly refused Yase was proposed by the Chinese counterpart Wang Yi during a meeting on the sidelines of the Summit Asia-Europe meeting, ASEM, last week in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. They said if we insist on relying on the judgment, then by that argument, it is likely to lead to a confrontation, but I told them this was contrary to the Constitution and our national interests are, he stressed Yase. The Foreign Secretary also said he had asked China to give Philippine fishermen on fishing within the Scarborough Shoal. The Chinese Navy's scene is not threatened, chased, or harassed Philippine vessels in the area. Secretary Yase admitted. We have not participated in bilateral negotiations with any other country. Vice Minister of Commerce of China Cao Yan, Gao Yan, confirmed to Reuters. It must be said that although some netizens have called for a boycott of products from the Philippines, but this fact did not happen. China is willing to develop trade relations and mutual benefit varied with the Philippines. End.